Loosen bottom bead, starting with valve stem positioned at the 2 o'clock position above the bead loosener shoe. Liberally lubricate the bottom bead of the tire. Clamp wheel from the outside. Position the rim edge into the clamp at the 12 o'clock position. Lower the wheel and depress the clamp control pedal. Slowly move the clamps inward until they securely contact the outside edge of the rim. Lubricate upper bead liberally. Use the right-hand helper roller to help push the tire bead down so bead area is easier to reach for lubrication. Tilt the tower forward into position. Pull the locking valve button forward to release the slides. The vertical slide will descend. Pull the slide handle to move the mount-demount head into contact with the rim edge. Push the locking valve button to lock the slides into place. As the slides are locked, the mount-demount head will move upward approximately 1/8 inch and backward approximately 1/8 inch from the rim edge. The mount-demount head roller should not be in contact with the rim edge, and the flat area under the head should be raised above rim flange. Check mount-demount head positioning. The mount-demount head should be positioned with 1/8 to 3/16 clearance between the top of the rim edge and the bottom of the mount-demount head, and 1/8 to 1/4 inch clearance between the rim edge and the mount-demount head roller. This clearance will be maintained as long as the slide locking valve remains locked. Note, the operator may tilt the tower back out of the way and forward into place again without needing to reposition the mount-demount head when changing a like set of wheels. The mount-demount head clearance may change with machine use and should be inspected often. Failure to maintain the proper clearance may result in damage to the wheel rim and/or tire. Using the right-hand helper roller to hold the bead down, insert the bead lifting tool between knob on mount-demount head and tire bead. Assist the bead down opposite the mount-demount head by using the left-hand helper shoe on the tire sidewall. Raise the right-hand helper roller up and rotate the bead lifting tool down over the wheel to lift bead up and over the knob on mount-demount head. Hold the bead lifting tool in place and depress the tabletop rotation control pedal momentarily to jog the wheel at a short distance. Check the wheel and tire to verify that operation is not causing damage. The bead lifting tool can usually be removed after jogging the wheel at a short distance. Continue to jog the wheel to allow the tire to flex where it crosses the rim edge and slip into the drop center on the opposite side. Remove left-hand helper shoe when about 1/4 of the tire bead is demounted. Continue short rotations until top bead is completely demounted. Demount the lower bead. In most cases, when demounting performance tires, the lower bead will be less difficult. Use helper discs to lift, position, and hold tire. Pay close attention to sensor transmitter location. Make sure lower bead is lifted above transmitter and position if directly below the demount tool when starting the lower bead demount procedure. Lubricate both tire beads liberally. Performance tires will require more lubrication than standard passenger car tires. Mount the lower bead. In most cases, the lower bead will mount easily. Position the valve stem directly across from the mount-demount tool for top bead mounting. Lift the top bead over the rear of the mount-demount head. Use the right-hand helper roller to help push and keep the top bead in the drop center during mounting, and use the left-hand helper shoe hooked over rim edge near the roller to help hold the bead in the drop center. The helper shoe will follow the wheel while rotating. Rotate or jog the wheel in short steps and apply extra lubricant to mount the upper bead. Remove the right-hand helper roller once the bead is well started in drop center. Note: on wheels with valve stem mounted sensors, begin the mounting operation with the valve stem at the 3 o'clock position in relation to the mount-demount head, which is at the 12 o'clock position. On wheels with strap-mounted sensors, begin the mounting operation with the valve stem at the 9 o'clock position. Mounting the top bead can be very difficult when new low-profile tires and performance, custom, or aluminum wheels are involved. Remember to mount the top bead using short jog rotations of the wheel. This will allow the bead to slip into the drop center. On extremely tight tire and wheel combinations, it may be necessary to use the hooked end of the bead lifting tool to flip the tire over the rim flange. After beads are mounted, follow the detailed instructions provided in the inflation section of this manual for bead sealing, bead seating, and inflation. Caution: if a wheel is damaged in mounting or dismounting, stop and avoid damaging the other wheels. Continue only when the cause is identified and corrected. Warning: some manufacturers offer wheels with little or no drop center. These are not Department of Transportation approved. The tire or wheel, or both, can be damaged and the tire could explode under pressure, resulting in serious injury or death. If you attempt to demount this type of wheel, use extreme caution. Some European wheels have very large humps except near the valve hole. On these wheels, the bead should be loosened at the valve hole on both the upper and lower sides first. Performance wheels on some vehicles, including Corvette, BMW, Lamborghini Diablo, have a pressure sensor strapped to the rim opposite the valve hole. On these wheels, the bead should be loosened at or near the valve hole on both upper and lower sides first. This ends the operation portion of this training tape. Stay tuned to learn how to properly maintain the Coates 9024 rim clamp. Proper maintenance of any piece of equipment not only gives it longer service life, but also makes it easier and safer to use. Good maintenance also makes the equipment more pleasant and profitable to use as well. Check the manual for any service and maintenance procedures and their recommended frequency. Before making any inspection, adjustment, or repair, be certain all power sources are disconnected and all moving parts are blocked out to prevent injury. Wear protective clothing and eye protection when making any adjustment or repair. The following are suggested maintenance procedures. Remove old wheel weights, old valve stems, and any other debris from all of the machine's work surfaces. Caution: do not use compressed air to remove dirt and debris from the machine. Foreign material may be propelled into the air and into operator or bystander, causing personal injury. The vertical and horizontal slides and the helper slides should be cleaned with a vaporizing solvent and then lubricated with chassis grease once a month. Check the adjustment of the mount-demount head once a month and adjust as necessary. To adjust tool head lift, loosen jam nut and adjust screw until lift clearance is 1/8 to 3/16. Tighten jam nut and check. To adjust tool head setback, loosen jam nut and adjust screw until setback clearance is 1/16. Tighten jam nut and check. The transmission in this machine is a sealed unit packed with grease and should need no normal maintenance. The tabletop clamp carrier, tracks, clamps, steel mount-demount head, and other working surfaces should be cleaned with a vaporizing solvent every month. Clean dirt and debris from the mount-demount tool roller with small screwdriver or pick. The rim clamps should be inspected and metal chips and dirt removed from the serrations with a wire brush once a month. Check the tire pressure gauge function daily and check the accuracy monthly. Use a pressurized tire and high-quality stick-type pressure gauge. If necessary, remove gauge cover lens and adjust the dial of the machine gauge. If the gauge is defective, have it replaced immediately. Check function of the pressure limiter weekly. Always reinstall the cover lens after adjusting the gauge. Make sure all fasteners are securely tightened. Make certain that all guards and covers are in place. Check for worn, damaged, or missing parts, including grips and protective covers. Replace them before allowing the unit to be used. On a daily basis, inspect the unit and check to be certain that all systems are operating normally. Detailed inspection and testing procedures are specified for various components at regular intervals. Set up a chart and assign responsibility for these items. Caution: replace any damaged or missing safety decals. They are available from Coates at 615-641-7533. Important: these instructions will help you maintain the tire changer. Instructions are for a person with some mechanical ability and training. Do not attempt to perform work beyond your ability or at which you have no experience. If you need assistance, call an authorized service center or contact Coates directly. Check oil and water levels regularly and perform these maintenance items weekly. Disconnect air supply to machine. The separator filter unit is equipped with an automatic drain and should not normally need draining. Add oil to the lubricator if the fluid level is more than 1/4 inch from the top of the gauge. Remove the filter plug on top of the lubricator and add SAE 10W non-detergent oil or an air tool oil to bring the level up to 1/4 inch from the top of the gauge. Replace filter plug and clean up any spilled oil. Adjust the oil flow with the black flow adjustment knob by turning the knob to increase or decrease the oil flow. Watch the formation of oil drops in the see-through oil chamber. Reconnect the air supply and continually cycle the bead loosener through full strokes and count the drips during the cycles. The delivery of oil to the airline should be about 1 drop per 10 cylinder cycles. Adjust flow as required. The pressure limiter helps prevent inflation of standard size or larger tires or tubes beyond 60 psi to minimize risk of explosion. This device is for the safety of the operator and bystanders. Proper operation of the pressure limiter is essential to safe operation of the tire changer. Check operation of the pressure limiter as shown and described at least monthly. Remove tires and/or wheels from the machine. Connect the inflation hose to an empty service tank with the pressure gauge. Gauge should read 0. Use a certified tank with at least a 250 psi pressure rating. Depress inflation pedal to position 1 to start airflow through the hose and into the tank. Maintain a steady pressure for constant flow. Watch the rising pressure on the tank gauge and the gauge on the tire changer. The tire changer gauge should cycle between check and inflation pressures while tank gauge climbs steadily. As tank pressure reaches 60 psi, the pressure limiter should stop the airflow automatically. Both gauges should read 60 psi plus or minus 5 psi. Release inflation pedal. Check manual release valve function by pressing the button and releasing pressure from the tank until it reaches 50 psi. Disconnect inflation hose and release air inside tank. Replace pressure limiter if it fails to cycle properly during inflation. If it fails to shut air supply off at 60 psi, or if it malfunctions in any other way, do not operate a tire changer with a faulty pressure limiter. Danger: operating a tire changer with a defective, improperly adjusted, or bypassed pressure limiter could result in a tire explosion with severe injury or death to the operator or bystanders. Always be sure that the pressure limiter is present and is operating properly on the tire changer at all times. Danger: never inflate tire above manufacturer's recommended pressure after bead is seated. Pressure limiter is set at 60 psi.